Awesome. You guys ready? You two ready? Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us in the Media Center of the Pelican Women's Championship presented by Konica Minolta and Raymond James. Got them both. We're joined by Bradenton natives, sisters, Nelly Korda, Jess Korda. Thank you both for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Well, as much of a home event as it's going to get for you guys on the LPGA Tour schedule, what's it like to kind of compete in your backyard and have maybe some familiar faces, not as long of a commute to work as normal?
Well, unfortunately, I live like an hour 15, so I'm staying up here. But it'll be super nice to have our family and friends come up. I always love playing in Florida because they just drive over, and it's nice to see some familiar faces in the crowd.
Yeah, I live on the other side of Florida now, but obviously growing up an hour away, it's just nice. Like Nelly said, I mean, I drove over to my parents on Sunday and got to spend some time with them and have dinner, and then casually made my way up Monday. So, it's super nice to be this close.
If you guys have any questions on Zoom, I see a lot of you on there. Comment in the chat function, please. And then when we open up for questions, we'll call on you. Growing up here in the Tampa area, Bradenton area, what memories do you have of your junior golf days? Any courses that you remember going to play or just learning the game in this area? What was it like?
I do. I remember Saddlebrook. I don't know why that one pops right in my... I mean, you would play in the summer. You would definitely play a lot of the one-day events up here. We would drive to Tampa quite a bit. But in the past couple of years, I mean, last year I didn't get to play, so I haven't played in Tampa. It's actually a good bit colder than Sarasota, even if it's just an hour. But as I said earlier, it's so nice to play near home. And I actually drove home after my practice round yesterday and spent some time at home as well.
Yeah, I mean, I played Howie in the Hills. Like, we played a bunch of FCWTs around here. So it's really nice. And same kind of as we go down to next week to Naples, played a decent amount there. And, Orlando, between Orlando, Tampa, and Naples, we've played a decent amount. So it's nice to, like I said, it's just nice to be able to drive to an event, just pack it in the car and go and not have to think about flights and all the extra stuff that goes into it.
And stop home on Sunday and do your laundry.
Yeah.
That's a win.
Yeah.
Did Nelly invite you for dinner yesterday, or do you have to ask permission?
Well, Mom actually cooked up a bunch of stuff for me to bring to the house that we have this week. So I actually made whatever. I just warmed up whatever Mom made.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a good dish. Steve?
Nelly, the vagaries of the world rankings, because neither of you played last week, somebody drops off, you're back to number one. I know you try not to think about those sort of things, but with 2 weeks left, are all of the awards that are up for grabs anywhere in your mind?
Honestly, no. I was super shocked. I had someone actually come up to me on 18 yesterday when I was finishing up my practice round and told me that I'm back at world number 1. I was like, nah, you're joking. Like, how is that even possible? So this is a little bit of a shock to me. No, to go back to your question, no, I'm not thinking about it because I haven't played in 3 weeks, and I've kind of had a weird schedule the past 2 months in a sense where I haven't really been playing a lot. So I'm just trying to get back into the competitive golf and honestly take it one shot at a time because I can definitely tell that I haven't been playing competitive golf a good bit.
Which leads to the next question. I mean, you did a tremendous amount of world traveling in the middle of the summer, and now you've been home for a while. Do you kind of feel like, gee, this is better, being rested after 3 weeks, or do you like being on the road during that stretch?
I think that there's pros and cons to both. I think when you're playing well and you're going, it's nice to kind of, you have a flow in a sense. But when you play well and then you come home for 3 weeks, you kind of get eager to get out there again. And maybe you're nervous coming back after playing so well. You've just had a break and you're kind of, in a sense, expected to play well again. But that's why I said, I mean, I'm just looking forward to hitting that first tee shot and seeing how the week goes.
Jessica, I want to ask you about some advice you may be giving to Nelly, because you have fought through injuries and you may have played some weeks when you may not, you probably shouldn't have. Is there advice you give her about, hey, look, don't overdo it?
Yeah, I mean, I've played a lot of weeks I shouldn't have. I'm stubborn with that. But, you know, we talk about it a lot, and it's something she's seen as well. The schedule was absolutely ridiculous for us this year. With the Olympics, with Solheim Cup, majors in between it. It was just, you know, it almost silly. But at the same time, like when are you ever going to get an experience to play all of those events kind of like that? It's like Nelly said, it's got its pros and cons, but we've been trying to just listen to our body. You know, it's a long year, number one, two, long careers. So missing an event here and there isn't going to make a huge difference to us in the long run. You know, definitely trying to stay healthy and relevant is the most important thing for us.
All right.
You two both had an exciting summer. Just what were some of the things that you were able to take away from the Olympic Games? And I mean, especially for you, Nelly, I mean, you made history there. So how much does that mean to you in your career?
Honestly, it'll be nice to kind of, after we're done after these 2 weeks, and kind of put the clubs away and kind of reminisce and think about it all. But as Jess said, it was a very crazy summer with a lot of big tournaments, but it was an amazing feeling. I wasn't really too sure how I was going to feel playing in the Olympics. I didn't really, golf was introduced in 2016, so growing up, I never really dreamt of playing in the Olympics, but standing on the podium and wearing the gold medal around my neck was an amazing feeling. I got really emotional, to be honest.
How about you, Jessica?
Yeah, Jess was like bawling to the sides.
Yeah, Danielle has a great video of me sobbing on the sides as she's like getting, the Olympic medal and the anthem playing, because I mean, you watch it all those years where athletes that you follow go through these. It's an emotional thing, and when you're playing, I think Thursday through Sunday, you don't realize. You're just like, it's another event. But where it really hits you is during during the podiums, because it's insane. Like, even though we didn't have fans and we didn't get to be in the Olympic Village as free as we wanted to be, and there were a lot of restrictions because of the pandemic. That moment, when she steps on the podium and receives her gold medal and the national anthem's playing, it was just incredible. I was speechless. I really was. I tried to get a woo out, and my voice cracked, and I was just going. It was not pretty. But that moment, you realized it was different than any other tournament or whatever, because she had just won, KPMG, winning a major, and that was a totally different emotional response to this.
And then your family has such strong tennis ties. I mean, what was it that made you guys fall in love with golf? What was it that you two decided to go this route instead of maybe what was the family way, so to speak?
She didn't have a choice.
Yeah, exactly. When our dad retired, he picked up golf, and Jess, you were probably five and a half.
Yeah.
So it was something, we could all do together. And then once I started walking, I was swinging clubs, and I was that annoying little sister that had to do everything big sister did.
You wouldn't leave me alone.
Yeah, I honestly wouldn't feel bad.
What's the excitement coming into this week? I mean, Nelly, for you, it's your first time here, and then Jessica obviously returning after last year and getting to see the course, but then obviously getting to experience it this year with fans. Just what are your thoughts going into this weekend here?
It just being kind of a home game feeling, I guess. I mean, we love it whenever our parents are out, and as Jess said, we can drive to events. I mean, just gives it a whole different excitement. You kind of, once the event's done, you put everything in your car and you drive an hour or you drive 2 hours and you're home. So it's just like a whole different feeling. You kind of feel more at home.
I'm excited to have fans at this event. I think one thing that we've definitely appreciated is having them back. It was tough to be out here doing what we love to do with dead silence. You just realize that, as much as we are athletes and we are very competitive, we love to entertain. And, you know, seeing people just as into it as we are is really, really cool. And seeing the kids back out and just the whole atmosphere of what a professional event is supposed to be like, we've, you know, not that we took it for granted, but we definitely appreciate it more than ever.
We'll go to Zoom and start with Kent.
Or not.
Kent, if you can unmute.
Okay.
Hey, Nelly, you mentioned being away from the tour mostly for the last couple of months. What has it been like watching Jin Young's recent run of play, and what has impressed you the most about it?
How dominant she's been. It's honestly been actually really super exciting to watch. I mean, you're never going to be world number one forever. I mean, people are just, you're going to jump people, they're going to jump you. But it's been super cool to see how dominant and well she's been playing, because if you're out here and you're playing week in and week out, you appreciate how good she is playing. So she's been on a run, and it's going to take some really, really good golf to catch her. But yeah, I mean, I was pretty dominant in the summer, and now she's dominant. So I think that's just how sports go. You know, you pass on the baton in a sense, and someone passes you, and you just try to battle it out. But it's been super cool and special to see what she's been doing.
What makes her as good as she is from your perspective?
She just knows how to get the ball in the hole, and she doesn't make mistakes. I mean, her putting's pretty amazing, and I think she's just all around a really, really solid player.
And as you mentioned, you were dominant earlier this year. How hard is it to be the dominant player on tour for a given stretch?
I just feel like you kind of get in a zone. When I was playing well, I just got in the zone, and I felt like everything was kind of flowing really well. And in a sense, it wasn't easy, but it may have looked easy, but there was just a flow to it that I just knew that I could play well every single day.
Thanks, Nelly.
Thanks, Kent. Beth Ann, you're up. Beth Ann, if you can unmute, if you can hear us. Okay, we'll come back to Beth Ann. Yep, in the room.
Ladies, I know you've probably gotten the sister question ad nauseum, but would you mind describing just having the comfort level of knowing someone so well to lean on tour, but also how important it is that you each have your own identity?
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of said so many times, but it's just so nice to basically travel with your best friend and always have a lunch buddy, always have a dinner buddy. That kind of, you know, if something's really going sideways, one of us is always there for the other one, and sitting on the driving range, sitting on the putting green, whatever it might be. So obviously that's super, super nice, and it is lonely out here, so just having that sense of comfort, sense of home almost, is nice. I always say that we're sisters by birth, but best friends by choice.
Built-in best buddy.
Built-in, yeah. And then obviously being individuals is really important, and that's why I said, like, we kind of still choose each other, which is nice. Because we don't have to.
Yeah. Just said it all.
We'll go back to Beth Ann. I have to unmute her. It's my fault.
Get it together.
Does that work, Beth Ann? Anyway, it is not working. So she typed them in. I'll ask them for her. Nelly, are you aware of where you stand against Jin Young in the Player of the Year race? Whether or not you do you like the point system that's in place, or would you rather see a player vote?
Wait, sorry. Say the question.
In regards to the Player of the Year race,
Player of the Year.
do you know where you stand against Jin Young? And whether or not you do you like the point system that's in place, or would you rather see a player vote?
Yeah, seriously. No, I actually don't even know where I stand. I just know the CM I know I'm second in CME, and that's really, honestly, all I know that I have no chance to win the Vera Trophy. That's what I know. But yeah, no, I don't know. And honestly, I think I've always said good golf kind of solves it all in a sense, that I'm not going to worry about anything, no trophies, nothing until I tee up that first shot and hopefully sink that last putt on the 72nd hole.
And then she also asked, did you know where you stand in terms of qualifying for the Vera Trophy? And was there any consideration in playing more events to be eligible?
No, my schedule was crazy enough. I had to pull out last minute from Portland because I just wasn't feeling well, and same with Walmart, yes. So no, I don't think I could have played more events because my body was just so tired. I typically usually play all the events at the start of the year, and if I play well, then I'll take some time off because of the traveling, and the summer was just so crazy.
Mm-hmm. Vera Trophy is also based on scoring, and if you're not feeling great, your scoring's going to plummet.
Yeah.
But I honestly didn't even think about that until the article came out that Jin Young and I weren't we can't qualify to win that event.
No one told that.
Yeah, so.
I didn't even know. I've been on tour for 11 years. I didn't know that there was an event minimum.
Wow.
Or round minimum, sorry.
Should that be changed?
Yeah.
Or reconsidered?
100%, especially with the way that our schedule is. But that's for other people to decide. We're just here to play.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Jess, I was going to ask you, we talked about the team series that you both played in New York. When you can play in a kind of team setting, does that rejuvenate the competitiveness this late in the year?
I mean, it was just really fun to do something different, support the LET. We were just up the road in New Jersey, so it made total sense to go play with another kind of big break. I know the first one we took it on purpose just because the summer was crazy with travel and everything, and people don't realize just how big of a toll it takes on you. And so we took some time off, and then kind of just playing one event. It's like almost a mini off season, and we just didn't want another big break. So it just came at the perfect time. But it was a really fun event to play, and if it works out, I would love to play another one of them because it's different, but really, really fun.
Oh yeah, when you win as a team, you gotta come back.
I mean, playing a playoff in the dark, how more interesting does it get?
No kidding. Did you have something to add?
No, I'm not really, no.
No.
It was a very exciting playoff.
Thanks.
So number 12 this week has the Lamborghini unlimited 2-year leases. So if there's 20 hole-in-ones, there's 20 leases on a Lambo.
Awesome.
Have any of you ever ridden in a Lambo? Is there, if one wins, does the other get a share of it? Like, how would that work?
1 and 1.
Well, Austin just did it yesterday, so but she was looking at the insurance on it, and it's coming out to be just a little bit more than what you would like to pay. So the 2-year lease sounds great, but I'd like to probably just drive it for a couple hours and give it back.
Yeah. Practical one over here. I'm like, yes, I'm sending it. Like,
I'll
give
take
me
the
the
cash.
Lambo. Yeah.
You could always split, like do like a timeshare with Austin.
Yeah, for sure.
Drive it down 70. Yeah. I think we should just take bets on who bottoms it out first.
Yeah.
We got a follow-up from Kent. Kent?
You both mentioned you weren't aware about the Vera Trophy minimum until that article came out. How did you react when you found out that you weren't going to be able to qualify?
I was just like, oh, okay, cool. That sucks. It's pretty much what I said in our group chat.
Yeah, I was like, oh, great rule.
Yeah. I mean, I would say Jin Young has had an amazing past couple events, and if she was to win it, she deserves to win it. And I would say the same for me. It kind of sucks that it's just how it is, but yeah,
It
that's all I have
just sucks
to
because
say.
the person that is now in the running, is it considered an asterisk, or
I mean,
it's I don't know. It's just such a weird rule when your number 1 and 2 player in the
N3,
world,
right?
and 3 player aren't. Is it 1, 2, and 3 aren't eligible? So it's just it's weird.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
Follow up from Beth
It'll
Ann.
be back to
Oh, go ahead, Ken.
it'll be back-to-back seasons where the lowest scoring average won't win the award. What alternatives have you thought about in regards to the round minimum?
I didn't know. I mean, last year
there
was
should
weird.
be-
I mean,
yeah.
last year with the pandemic, we didn't have too many events, so I just didn't even know that we were going to do that last year with awards. But there's a board.
Yeah.
There's a board of players and people higher up than us that are going to need to come up maybe with a different plan or no plan at all. Just now people are more aware of it.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ken. Follow up from Beth Ann for both of you. Growing up, did you ever think of the LPGA Hall of Fame? So Young was in here earlier, and she mentioned how that's one of her career goals that she established a long time ago. Knowing that there are different trophies, and despite all the hoopla that comes with it, knowing that there are points up for grabs, is that something that, given your career earnings and what you've accomplished so far, is that something that you've ever given thought to as your career has gone on?
I think it's really hard to get into the LPGA Hall of Fame, so not really. I try to have a successful career, make an impact, grow the game of golf, and what comes with that. In terms of the point system, the fact that Lorena Ochoa isn't in the LPGA Hall of Fame, I think is
BS.
Yeah, it's laughable, honestly, because she's a great player and she deserves it more than anyone.
I think what we focus on is major championships, and what I always focus on is CME and end of the year money list. That's like my main focus is always every year.
Yeah, if we can do something to be remembered for, and like I said, grow the game of golf for the next generation and leave it in a better spot than we found it, that's huge for us. If that comes with an LPGA Hall of Fame, great. I just know that it is a very hard thing to get into based on the point system that I think we have in place.
But we still do have big goals.
Yes, we do. We very much do.
I'm sure you do. Do we have any more in the room? You got one?
Yeah, guys, back to the sister thing. Obviously, you said you lean on each other and you're supportive and all that. But on the other side of that coin, you're both competitors. You're pro golfers, and there's also the natural sibling rivalry thing. So I wonder, how do you guys balance that of two natural things?
Well, we obviously want to beat each other every week, but we want each other to do well as well. Like, we don't like seeing another one struggle, I think. And the best weeks are when we both do well, but I think there's always going to be a competitiveness there. I mean, we're not playing just against each other. You're playing against 144 other girls. So no matter what, you're trying to go in and play the best you can against everyone. And at the end of the day, you're playing against a golf course. It's not like tennis where it's one-on-one. It's more of like one-on-one with the golf course where you're going out there and trying to beat the golf course.
Yeah, if it was tennis, I think you guys would be much happier because there would actually be a rivalry.
Yeah.
You can say we have a rivalry with every single person in the field as well. So, like Nelly said, it's an individual sport. We're playing against more than just one person every week, and like Nelly said, the golf course is, we're just trying to beat it every day. It's us against the course in a sense.
Sarah?
Yeah, just one quick question about the green complexes out here. Jess, I saw you chipping around on 9. I mean, they're ridiculous. Like, it hard and fast, really undulating. What's your all's kind of strategy going into this week with such challenging greens?
I think I know we got a lot of rain on Friday. So I think that the greens are softer than they were last year. Last year it was really, really tough, and it's a pretty new golf course. So to have firm greens is expected. Once the course settles in a couple more years, it'll be completely different. But they're definitely a lot softer this year and more receptive, which is super nice. We were, having a hard time keeping it on certain surfaces last year. But this golf course is great, and, the biggest defense are the greens. So they're big and they're undulated, so missing in the right spots is going to be key. And like I said, the greens here are the biggest defense, and obviously as well as the wind.
Especially on the front 9, I think 11 through 17, it's kind of, the greens are kind of more scoreable, but the front 9 is very tough. And 18 is very hard to hold, especially if, you know, you have a long club in, you're hitting it over the water a lot. You'll see a lot of people long.
Yeah.
Last one I have, and we'll wrap it up here. Jess, you mentioned a minute ago just about leaving the game in a better spot, growing the game. You know, I look at your relationship with Sophia that we connected with earlier this year. We just did a drive-on piece with Autumn Soulsby, and she said, I want to be like the Korda sisters one day. It seems that you guys have always been popular on tour, but it seems that that popularity has maybe taken off with the younger generation to a greater extent this year, at least from what I've seen off the course and with your popularity. Do you feel that with the younger generation and some of the girls that you see week in and week out that you mentioned fans are out here? Do you feel that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously it helps playing well. Being relevant, like I said before, is really important. And I think people maybe relate a little bit to how we celebrate each other's wins. And obviously, Nelly winning, how many times did you do that? 3? Have you won 3 times this year? 4? Whatever. Like, it's too many to count. But, I mean, so we have 5 wins between us. But, yeah, I mean, yeah, I think people just can relate to that, and they see how much fun we have with it. And that's what I always hoped for people or kids to see, that it is a game, it is fun. And obviously winning is always fun, but even when you're not winning, you can still have fun doing it. We are living our dreams at the end of the day. This is where we wanted to be when we were their age and growing up. And I remember walking outside the ropes, and if a pro gave me any attention, you know, I would idolize them for the next, I don't even know how long.
And we've also had fans out this year, so it's been super nice to see them. I think a lot more kids are coming out, and it's fun. I think we, as a tour, do a really good job interacting with the young kids. So I think it just makes them really excited, to try the game of golf too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Love it. Thank you both for your time. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Thank you.